Good morning. Denise Dryden here on Bainbridge Island. I'm down at the Winslow Wharf and it is fabulous. There's all these little sculptures behind me that are stone sculptures, and they're so inspiring, and I've always wanted to film right here. Now that I have my jetpack, here we go. My favorite topic today of all the ones we've been doing is this or something more. And it's been a way of life for me for the last 5 years. It's been something that I've been learning and cultivating, and I wanted to share it with you because it brings together so many of the tools that I've been presenting to you over the last few weeks and ties them in this nice, beautiful bow. So this or something more is a way of living. It's a way of being. It's a way of partnering with life. And although you might dismiss it as being sort of airy-fairy out there, it is probably the most important tool that I've learned in order to craft my business, my relationships, and the move that I've made, and just about anything solid, concrete that I can bring into form. So I wanted to share this with you because there's just a dozen different tools that sort of all blend together. So before we can go to the something more, we have to create the this. Does that make sense? The this. So the this is the recognition that either I'm completely satisfied and content and happy where I am right now, or something needs to change. And when we're able to recognize that there's a disconnect or there's a space between what we want to feel and be and where we are, then we start this process, right? This process of this. So we recognize what needs to change, and we work on that self-soothing. What is it that's triggering me? What is it that I do? What is my physiological response when I am not in my body and I'm not happy? So we deal with self-soothing, and we create space and time, wide open spaces, right? And we allow ourselves to pick up something, whether it's breathing or walking or yoga or crafting, a hobby, doing something with our hands, knitting, woodwork, cooking, something where it's really restorative, whatever that is for you, that gets you into your body and gets you present. Because the whole goal with self-soothing is to learn how to become present in your body. I can feel my body, I can feel my breath going in and out, and I'm here right now. Okay? So that's the first part, settle in. Alan Seal will take us at a gathering, and he'll go, bring yourself to presence. And it's a skill to be able to go and come right to where you need to be, without nervousness, without agitation, without thoughts going into 100 different directions. So when we are present, then what we do is we start to let the world inform us. We start to notice things. We notice what we notice. We've talked about this in video after video. What do I notice? Like right now, I notice that there are seagulls, and there's been this eagle flying over, this harbor off and on, and I hope the eagle shows up. I notice that there's a peacefulness. Everything, it's cold. It's cold out here today, but there's a peacefulness because nobody wants to come out today. And there's these ripples in the water. What do you notice? And when you notice, are you noticing where you are and what wants to happen? Like, what do you see? What do you feel? What do you, what comes into your world and tenses you up? What relaxes you? Notice when you're that grip of control. Oh, yeah, I don't know what's going on, so I want to go grab that. And when you can let go and back off. So what do you notice? So that's the second thing, right? So bring yourself to presence. What do you notice? And then identify, I have a choice. I can choose to stay out here in the cold, or I can choose to go someplace warm, this little coffee shop right around the corner, when I'm done. I am not a victim of the circumstances of the world. I am not surrendering and going wherever willy-nilly it sends me. I am noticing and then saying, yeah, I like that, and going towards that, following the energy. So you notice, and then you partner with what's going on, what wants to happen, and that you have a choice. We have an active choice, and the more we own that active choice, the better we do in guiding our life. then we become that self-advocate, that one who says, wait a minute, I'm choosing to be here right now. So all of my attention is going to go to standing on that postage stamp, to running my life and my kids and my partner and my job or whatever that is all at once. This is what's taking my full attention, and this is what I need right now. So I am advocating. I'm advocating for myself, right? So I'm focusing on my system. I'm focusing on what works. I'm focusing on how much sleep I need. I'm focusing on how I show up. And that is sort of going from presence to noticing, to saying, no matter what happens in this world, I'm okay. I'm moving. I'm sort of, doing something and then assessing and then self-correcting and staying in my center and moving through life. Now this can take weeks, it can take months, it can take years to develop. It just depends on how motivated you are to figure out who you are and how you navigate in the world. So after we're self-advocating, right? We're sitting there and we're just holding life by ourselves. The most important thing is to say, thank you. Thank you for the beautiful weather outside. Thank you for the stillness. Thank you for Facebook Live. I am so thankful for everything that's happening right now. It's saying, I like the way things have shown up right now. And I just want you to know, whoever you are out there, that I'm grateful, right? and then we sort of bring it in, like we feel it. Like, I feel grateful. I accept what's going on right now. Next is to empower. We've talked about this. To say empowering statements to yourself, like, wow, I noticed that it was really cold. You bundled up and you went right outside to your favorite place. I've been wanting to broadcast from here forever. And look at you, you're doing it. How can anything be wrong in the world when we're empowering ourselves with what we love to do? So all of this, up until this point, is being able to say this right now. I like this. I'm happy with this. I feel this. I feel content right here. So if we can't feel this, how do we know what we want? How do we know what's next? So once we get to this and we can feel the contentness and we can feel the presence and we can feel our children and we can feel our partner and we can feel ourselves and we can feel connected or really disconnected at work and then go, oh yeah, so everything else is doing really well but that thing, right? Then we know what to do next, right? Because this is informing us. This is guiding us. This is our, sort of consciousness of what's going on. So now for the goodies. This is my favorite part. Once you get to this and you go, everybody's sort of in a nice homeostasis and there's this little tap, tap, tap on the shoulder that says, I need to change my job. I need to change the way that I make an income. Or I really want a life partner. I'm ready for that. Or I don't know that I want to live in this house anymore. It's too big, it's too small. I want it something that's easier for walking to the grocery store, whatever that is. Then you know what that something more is, right? I want this. I want to create something that feels like this. And then I want it, or more. Surprise me, right? That's where you let go of trying to control it. You let go of trying to envision it. You let go of trying to use the route, that rote place where you go over and over in your same thoughts going, if I only had this job or this house or this person, I would be fine. You get fine first and then you go, so surprise me. Give me something I couldn't have even thought of. Okay, so I know that this is, again, abstract. So let's bring it in to a very concrete tool. Once you know what this being here feels like, you know how you breathe, you know how you interact with your kids, you know how you love, you know how you work, you know how everything works in your world, then you're using your heart language, right? And you're connecting on a much deeper level. And when you ask for something more, I want something more, it gives you a chance to say, bring it on. Surprise me. Give me something that I couldn't have even thought of. And I can hardly wait to feel it. And I will know it when I feel it, because it'll feel like this. And then I can just sort of transition and get those little butterflies and go, that's what it feels like. So to give you 2 examples, okay? One is a dinner with my daughter about a month ago. And I knew what I wanted it to feel like. I knew what I wanted me to feel like. I knew that this was my time to see her. I haven't seen her in a few months. And I was like, this is what I want. And noticing that it was off. And going back to myself. Going back to self-advocating. Going back to knowing I'm off. And then correcting that. So wait a minute. If I adjust this, and I want this, or something more, let this evening be something more. And it was an interesting evening, because I think if you spoke with my daughter, you'd say, we went into some old patterns at the beginning, and then all of a sudden it went bam, and it turned into something more. And both of us were like, that was a really cool evening together. And then we spent the weekend just sort of being in something more. And so I allowed myself to inform me. I allowed her to inform me. I followed the energy. I was present. And I let go of what I thought it was going to be. And I allowed it to be something more. So I'm going to close with this one little story that I think I've shared in a video before about coming to Bainbridge. I lived in Whitefish for 8 years. And Whitefish has 6,000 people, 10,000 people if you take the surrounding area. And after a while, it was kind of like, Fishbowl's too tight. I need more space. And it was like, go to Seattle. I kept hearing, go to Seattle. It's like, no, I don't want to go to Seattle. You can't make me go to Seattle. And I remember finally departing on the search to say, fine. If I need to be in Seattle where there's more people, there's more young adults, there's more opportunity, there's more growth for me, it needs to be like this, like the way I love Whitefish, or it needs to be something more. Something more. And so I would go to these places, and I had to really work all the time on that self-soothing and that wanting to control it, because it wasn't feeling like this. You know, it wasn't feeling like what I know life to be when, and content, and I'm happy. And I just kept saying, surprise me. It needs to be like Whitefish, or it needs to be better. And when I got on the ferry to come over to Bainbridge, just randomly on the last day of my search, I'd pretty much given up finding anything in the Seattle, Washington area. And I got on the ferry, and all these bubbles of excitement started coming up in my body. And I was like, well, this is new. And I noticed it. And then I paid attention, and I noticed all these coincidences, all these pieces falling into place. And then when I got out on the ferry and I looked around downtown, it was like someone had taken the beautiful town of Whitefish that I love and picked it up and put it on an island. And it had the same mountains with the snow, a little bit further away, tons of water, which I'd never been around. Look at all these sailboats and this wharf and this magic here. And I was like, oh, this could be something more. This feels like something more. So those are some examples of how to use this. You have to get to this. And then you have to say, so surprise me, give me something more. If you want to know how to hone these tools or what they actually look and feel like, you can always come over to Bainbridge and spend the day with me. This is one of the new services that I'm starting, which is come to Bainbridge and play, and I'll show you, and we will create how you get to this on a more daily, regular basis. And then how do you start creating something more? You can find me on DeniseStridenCoaching.com. Give me a jingle, drop me an email. I would love to chat with you. You have a great Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.